Absolutely. I mean, how many people in the rock industry sound like Ozzy? You know, he had this unique timbre in his voice. And the interesting thing is, it wasn't all about metal and heavy music. I mean, Ozzy's heroes were the Beatles, certainly Elton John. He always complimented Elton John. But the bottom line is, he was a trailblazer, a man of the people who came from Aston.
We've concentrated so far on his time with Black Sabbath, but he had a very successful solo career as well. And you mentioned there Elton John, who posted a tribute tonight saying, so sad to hear the news of Ozzy's passing. He was a dear friend and a huge trailblazer who secured his place in the pantheon of rock gods. And he had a softer side to his music as well, because a track that, you know, I'm not really into metal music, but, you know, Black Sabbath transcended the genre. We all know some Black Sabbath songs, but I do know the song Changes, which he released as a solo artist and recorded many times, including with his daughter, Kelly Osbourne. So he had a real soft side to his music as well. In fact, he was influenced by the Beatles as a young artist. Yeah,
absolutely. I think Changes goes back, somebody might correct me here, to 72, could have been 73. And if you look for the young folks there out there, if you look on YouTube, there's a fantastic version of that recreated of recent times with the original band. But the thing about Ozzy, right, he had two careers. He had the Black Sabbath career, that everything went a little bit AWOL. And then he had this kind of comeback, all thanks to Sharon, and thank God she saved him, right? And then he had this fantastically successful period in America with as a Ozzy Blizzard of Oz, etc., solo artist, and he was absolutely stunning. And it was so nice. I was at the Aston Villa 2 weeks last Saturday to see people like Rudy Sarzo and all the people jumping up who had played with him during his solo period. So we should never neglect that. But he was so appreciative of the people that got him in his solo career to where he was. So Randy Rhoads was the oft-quoted guy, and he loved Randy Rhoads, his guitarist. Randy was classically trained, by the way. And when Randy died, it was a massive, massive impact on Oz. But the main thing for me is, right, I think, it came to the end of the game. I think Ozzy knew his time was coming up a bit. The most important, I was at the 2017, the end tour, but the main thing was, for the last gig, he wanted Bill Ward back in the fold. His mate Bill, from Aston area in Birmingham. And so seeing
Black Sabbath.
Yeah, exactly. So seeing the four of them together, all there, still doing it. The music sounded so bloody good. If it wasn't just for the mobility and the Parkinson's, Ozzy's voice was astounding. I haven't personally heard it as good as that in donkey's years. It was brilliant. So let's face it, it was a great way to bow out. And, rock in peace, Oz, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like a fitting tribute now, doesn't it? It was only a couple of weeks ago, which is hard to believe. We were talking about it here on Sky News, the buzz around the city of Birmingham. They've declared it the Sabbath summer. There are so many different events to celebrate the group and Ozzy happening in the city of Birmingham over this summer period. What's been the impact on you, Mark? Because I know you're upset tonight, so I really appreciate you coming on to talk to us about it. I know it's really important to you to remember his legacy, but just talk to me about the impact that he's had on you and other metal fans.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Just a bit, giving people a bit of context without being boring, right? I grew up in the West Midlands, what they call the Green Belt, in Aberystwyth in West Wales, right? So our nearest gig was usually to Birmingham to see Priest, to see Rush. We saw AC/DC in the late 70s, early 80s. So going up to Brum for us from West Wales, Hicksville, was something to behold. So it was so good to be able to do that a couple of weeks ago, going back to the centre of Birmingham, which I hadn't been to for best part of 40 years, actually, 45 years. And it was so good to go back in there and have so many memories, because metal was forged in Birmingham, thanks to Mr. Iommi, right? And it was the Midlands has always been the epicenter of hard rock and metal, and it was so lovely to see Ozzy kind of, tributed by all his friends and family. I've never seen a side stage so full of people at the Villa Park a couple of weeks ago. I thought the stage was going to collapse because everyone wanted to be on stage and off stage, yeah. And he was on great form, he was on great form. But I think the bottom line, I lost my dad, and my brother and I lost my dad about 6 months ago. There's a certain thing, where when people feel their time is coming, their time has come. And my guessing is, and who knows, and we shouldn't speculate, but my guessing is, Ozzy felt he did his thing with his best pals in Birmingham. What's left, And he was dealing with a lot. It wasn't just the Parkinson's, there were other things. And he was a great man, and he will genuinely be remembered as the trailblazer of hard rock and roll. And tonight he's up there with Lemmy, right?
Representing Motorhead tonight, I like it.
Who, by the way, wrote his best lyrics wrote the lyrics for Mama, I'm Coming Home, which all grown men at Villa Park, we were crying our eyes out a couple of weeks ago when he played that live.
Well, listen, it's a beautiful metal community that came together for that gig at Villa Park in Birmingham to honour Ozzy, and tonight you'll hear remembering him, and we really appreciate that, Mark. That's Mark Williams, super fan there. I'm sure you'll raise a toast to Ozzy tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure, thank you.